Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for the cut file crew. And the free cut file we're using today is the Stitching Star Galaxy by Paper Issues. So I cut that on the silhouette, and using some scraps I used the star part of the template to cut a rainbow of stars from scraps from my stash. I'll come back to those later on. So before I removed any of the cut file from the mat, I brought in my Distress Oxides and some brushes, and I'm going to ink over the stars and a little bit around the outside of them. I felt it was easier to do while the stars were still in place. Obviously the centres of them are going to be replaced by the coloured ones, but I thought it was easier not to get a hard edge while the star was in position. So I'm going to just work my way through different colours of ink pads to go with the pieces of scrap that I've cut of the different colours in the rainbow. Whether you could tell that I've used so many ink pads eventually is better in real life. It's not photographed as well. Unfortunately, photographing things in the winter in the UK, it's very difficult to show the subtleties, but you'll see that I'm dabbing off the ink. So I touch the ink pad, I'm dabbing it off on the paper on the left, just to stop there being any harsh marks, because obviously this cardstock is the top layer of my layout. It's not going to be the background, it is the layout. So I don't want any harsh ink marks, and that's why I'm using the brushes and not the circular foam pads, because I think they give a much softer look. So I'm just going through the inks there. You may notice that the rack that the inks are sitting in, mine stand upright. They're not all labelled on the top. It's on my list of things to do, and I don't know about you. Tidying and organising, even though I love it, isn't how I use my free time particularly, so it is on the list. But anyway, going back to the plastic, I've got two of these. You may see the other one, you may not. They're from Amazon. They were for standing nail varnishes on. They're a bit like stairs. So I did the darker colours, the lower half of the rainbow, off camera. So I peeled it off the mat. I've got a piece of cardstock underneath, and I've drawn around where the stars go, and I've labelled them with the initial. So I've got an idea where to put them back in. So they should all fit in there. Now, you'll remember me saying at the very beginning that this was a Stitching Star Galaxy template. So you'll see my busy hands there on the left, and I do apologise again for the way I store my embroidery threads. Anybody free to come and sort my stash, you're very welcome, particularly if you're in the UK. Might be a long way to come if you live abroad, but I'm trying to find embroidery threads that go with the paper stars that I've cut. So that's what my hands are doing at the moment. So unfortunately they just live in a plastic 12 by 12 bag, so that's not great. But yeah, going back to the ink pads, the clear stair like stacking system, it's for nail varnishes anyway. I've got two of them. I've got the pinks, oranges, yellows and browns in one, and I've got the blues, greys and greens in another. And that's how I keep my oxides. I can list down the whole tray, or as I say, most of them are labelled on the top. If not, I can flick through them really easily and pick the colours that I want. So being a stitching template, there is just a few holes around each of the stars. So basically I'm going to use the full cotton, all 6 strands, and I did a lot of it off camera in front of the telly, if I'm honest, and they're just straight stitches, and you can see that's the back. So I want to support this above the cutout rainbow stars, so I'm adding just some children's foam on the back in a couple of really chunky pieces, and then I'm going to fill in around it, and I'm sticking this on just with some double-sided tape because I want to lift it off the base layer, if that makes sense. And it seems silly to come in with just foam pads, and anyway they would leave lots of chibbly bits all over the floor, so using the foam sheets seemed to work best for me. So I'm now going to stick, just with a bit of double-sided tape, the stars into the right holes on the base layer. Now you think this would be easy, but the stars aren't completely symmetrical, or whatever you call it for a star. So some of them I'm having to turn around a little bit so that I can actually get them so they fit, so that when you look through the cut file, they're going to be exactly correct. So this does take me a little bit of time. In fact, this layout did take me quite a bit of time really, with all the bits and pieces that I've used and how it's made up. But actually, surely that's what a challenge is like. So let me tell you a bit more about the Cut File crew. We're a group of scrappers, mainly European, who once a month pick a free cut file and all design with it. So if you go onto Instagram, which is where we share them, you will find that we've all got completely different styles and we'll all make completely different layouts. And there's loads and loads of inspiration from the team. I've got monthly videos as well. And I really would recommend you check out the Cut File crew. It's lots of free inspiration there and some really great talented ladies. So yeah, if you get the chance, that's what I would recommend you do. So I'm nearly finished there. I thought for a second I'd lost a couple, but they were hiding underneath the cardstock. Thank goodness, otherwise I'd need to be getting more scraps out to be cutting. But I do feel that I've had a good old use up. I'm trying to sort out my stash a little and declutter a bit. So using up some nice scraps that I like has been quite useful. And I haven't even talked about the photographs that I'm going to choose. So I've stuck the two layers together with the paper behind and I really like the way that looks. And I've got 3 photos here in black and white of Harry Styles. Now I picked them in black and white even though his costume was quite out there, because I wanted to stick with the rainbow theme. So I want to write, "What a star you are." So I brought in some alphas and I can't even tell you how old some of these are. It's shameful really how old some of the stuff in my stash is. And I don't tend to use like thicker alphas as much as I used to. So I thought this would be a really good way of using them up. I'm going to try and match them-ish to the colours that are of the stars that they're next to. It sounds like I'm making this way complicated, aren't I? And I do put the word Harry in purple to start with, but I come back and change that nearer the end. But the concept is I wanted to have the photos on the left and I wanted to fill the right with the title, but still feel as if there was some white space. See what you think at the end. I feel like it's really not my sort of layout that I would normally make, but I did enjoy making it and I do feel like it was a bit of a challenge for me. And that's the best sort, isn't it? And I made a layout I wouldn't have necessarily made. So I'm a Harry Styles fan. I feel he's the sort of professional that any sort of age group can like. I've seen him live twice now over the past few years, and I just think he's a great all-round entertainer. I think he reacts with his public really well, very personable, and makes really nice, catchy songs that are uplifting. So that's my thoughts on Harry Styles. So these 3 photos were taken from the concert where I saw him last. And I just thought the title, "What a Star You Are," is actually perfect to go with him. So I'm just looking at the colour of some of the alphas. And then I decided I was going to put the word Harry at the top rather than at the bottom with the rest of the title. And I initially pull out these orange alphas out of my stash and I'm sticking them there to wax paper. I find that it's a really good way of moving things around a layout when you're not sure. The letters were just a tiny bit too big. I couldn't get them from overhanging on the photograph. I'm sorry about the shine there. I moved that a little. And I wanted them to fit and they didn't. So I came in with another alpha. I think this could be even a Vicky Boutin one, you know. And it was designed to be coloured. So I decided I would put the word Harry on there using these. And they fit with a bit of a gap, so I know that they're going to be perfect. And I'm actually going to come in with one of the inks that I used earlier and I'm going to colour them in 2 shades of orange because they line up more around the orange than the red at the top of the layout. So I'm just coming in with one of those brushes and I'm just going between the 2 inks and I'm going to colour those. So I think this layout's pretty much done. This is the finished layout. The full image will be on Instagram as well. These are some of the close-ups of the stitching. The inking you can't see so well. It's a shame. In real life, it's definitely softened the edges of the stars. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. Any questions, just ask. And I hope to see you here real soon. Bye for now.